even bigger sound in a slightly larger shell. Hey, this episode of Some Gadget Guy is brought to you by viewers like you, all the folks who share content on social media, and the incredible generosity of my patrons at patreon.com/SomeGadgetGuy. More info on those awesome nerds later in the video. The folks at Onyx sent this my way, the alpha DAC, for me to test drive and share some thoughts. And it's a punchy little monster. We're in a fun time right now for cabled audio. Inexpensive audiophile as a category, and headphones and IEMs, there's so many fun options to play with and really tailor fit a specific sound to your tastes. And our ability to power nice headphones, the tech is easier to use, easier to carry, and more affordable than ever. The Alpha is very similar to the Shanling I recently reviewed on this channel. This is the UA4, it's a little bit smaller, but it has similar controls, menus, and the same options for a 3.5mm and 4.4mm ports. Plug in with a USB-C cable and it's ready to use with almost any computer you can pair it with. As we tour those controls, we have gain. There's a 2-stage gain option here. Depending on the headphones you connect, you might need more oomph from the amp. There are filter options. The key mode controls either the DAC volume, the host volume, or it can be used to skip tracks. A clear layout for adjusting balance. You can change up the font, and options to control the brightness. Screensaver, there's a timeout for when the screensaver kicks on. You can flip the orientation and set idle for the unit to power down when not in use. Unlike the Shanling though, we're not running an ESS DAC, but a pair of Cirrus Logic DACs. Total output power is higher than the UA4. The numbers are just really impressive if you've been a hobbyist in this space for a while. I've never been a hardcore audiophile with stacks of gear on my desk to drive my headphones. I've always been a mobile, portable kind of guy. Now portable is really punchy. It's still not an impulse buy like picking up an iPad dongle DAC, but it's at a low enough price to make this a lot more accessible. And it moves between devices really well, so one purchase could improve audio on multiple computers you own. The claims here are a little different than the UA4. Shanling was pitching a new ESS chip and power efficiency. Onyx is calling the Alpha a powerful tiny beast, so there might be some issues with running something like this on a mid-ranger or a less expensive phone, if the phone really can't put out enough electricity to properly drive this. I did most of my listening bouncing back and forth between my Cineaptic Ribbon headphones, my Odyssey Euclid, and the new Beyerdynamics DT770 Pro X. All of these are articulate, detailed headphones, and on older ESS DACs, I could sometimes run into issues with highs and sibilance, especially on those Cineaptic. The Onyx drove all of these options fantastically well. I have no doubt that even the more demanding headphones in your collection will likely get some good sound out of this tiny puck. And it's a warmer sound that kind of takes the edges off some of the shrill we'd sometimes encounter on those older ESS DACs. We're growing up out of that harsher digital sound from older and often more expensive options. And I really like what I hear when we pair a DAC like this with an aggressively articulate headphone. I love being able to hear the fingertip ridges as they rake a guitar string. The evolution over the last couple years has been fun, from smaller dongle DACs to something like the Helm Bolt or the THX Onyx, not to be confused with the Onyx Alpha, but prices keep falling while the performance keeps improving. Even over a period of the last couple years, I would not have expected this much improvement. I still don't have anything in-house right now that's particularly difficult to drive. The 3.5mm output here is plenty capable of running my older 250 ohm Beyerdynamics. I'm doing a little investigating on what might be a thirstier headphone to test this with. I'm looking at some stuff that's really spendy with some exotic drivers. The balance connector has some oomph, and I don't need the higher amp output at all for my balanced earbuds. So yeah, I need to find something harder to drive, because right now, I just have DACs that are gonna blow my ears out if I really let them go wild. I just remember picking up things like my Fio Q3, like, woohoo! And now this little guy is even more powerful. With all that power on tap, I'm happy that the Alpha doesn't get uncomfortably hot on playback. It's running a little cooler than older premium dongle DACs, and it's not noticeably different than that Shanling UA4, which was marketed on having a more power-efficient chip. I just really dig this little puck. I think it's fair to look at what kind of headphones you might pair it with. Again, I have a preference towards articulate and analytical audio options. But even if you hooked up something a bit more mellow or lush, I doubt it would deliver a bad sound. It just maybe might not be the most optimal pairing for your tastes. It's hard to feel like you might have gone wrong there though, when the price on this is so reasonable. Very recently, getting something below this grade was a lot more expensive. So I throw around the term audiophile, and maybe that means too expensive to some people and snake oil to other people, but I think this era of audio gear should be categorized by the novelty at more accessible prices. This stuff is really fun, and it's even more fun because it won't break the bank. So I will, of course, leave some links down below where you can find more information on the Onyx Alpha, this little beast of a dongle DAC right here. Treat your ears. I think your ears are worth it, and it's always fun to kind of crack into some healthier and more expressive and articulate and colorful and dynamic listening options. As always, thanks so much for watching, for sharing these videos across social media. That really helps us with the platforms and the algorithms. Greatly appreciate everyone out there supporting, and if you have the means, I hope you'll consider checking out the community at patreon.com/SomeGadgetGuy. Early access tiers, all of my videos in 4K, production diaries, the private Discord, and they're a really fun group of geeks to hang out with. A huge thank you from the bottom of my heart, as they are helping to keep the lights on here in the Gadget Lab. Now, you know where you can find me around the rest of the internet, at SomeGadgetGuy, basically everywhere, but these days I'm spending a bit more of my time on the Mastodons, a lot less so on the Facebooks and the Instagrams, and definitely not on the Twitters. And I will catch you all on the next review.